wow, that's crazy. What are their lifts like? That's what I care about. Hey everybody, my name is Zach Tellender. I'm a weightlifting coach and a weightlifter and just a weightlifting enthusiast. And when I say weightlifting, I mean Olympic weightlifting specifically. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to let you know that I have a Patreon. Many people have already subscribed to it. It has a ton of programs on there for as little as $1 a month. If you want to give me more money, that'd be great. But I really think it's worthwhile for you. I have a huge gambit of different programs stemming from beginners up to advanced. If you want hypertrophy programs that go along with weightlifting, those are there too. I recently just put a program up there that is pulling specific. If you have issues with your pull off of the floor, some of your positions, this is a great program for you. It really would help me out if you guys could subscribe because, ad revenue on YouTube isn't that great and it just helps keep the channel going. So subscribe to that, patreon.com/Zach Tellender, and you'll get all those programs for as little as $1 a month. That's $12 a year with 12 installments of $1. You wouldn't even notice it, but it would make the world of a difference to me. So please go ahead and subscribe, and thank you. All right, so in this video, I want to kind of talk about the disparity between intent and outcome. And this is literally something that my channel has really always been about. Even if you look at the first video I ever made, which was, I think it was like 3 things about the snatch, one of those cringy titles, but it was a pretty good video. And basically it was my experience in what is taught in the snatch and how it doesn't provide enough around certain aspects of the snatch that I found really important. Basically, the way that certain places have been teaching the snatch and teaching the clean and jerk, they look at the outcome. They basically formulate all of these things around the outcome. And what ends up happening is you have this disparity in performance rather than focusing on different intents that provide us different outcomes. So I have a great example of this. About 2 years ago, I decided to do the CrossFit Level 2. The CrossFit Level 1 that I got in 2013 was expiring. And instead of letting it expire, I decided to get the Level 2. It was just something that I didn't want to let go. I don't know if I'll ever coach CrossFit again, but it was a nice little seminar. In my small group, one of the things that we did was the medicine ball clean. And that is something that CrossFit uses, to teach beginners and very remedial lifters how to clean and the certain outcomes that we're really looking for. Personally, I would never, ever in a million years use this technique to teach someone how to weightlift. To me, it's a waste of time and it really doesn't transfer over at all. Having said that, that was the movement we did. In my small group, we did rep after rep after rep. At the end of it, the instructor said, "Who do you think needs the most work in here on their medicine ball clean?" And everyone in my group pointed to me. Everyone. Before we kind of go over why that happened, we had 2 workouts later in that day. The first one was just like a standard CrossFit workout of some sort of chipper or whatever with toes to bar and wall balls, bunch of different things. I didn't mind it. It was fun. But the next workout was a clean +2 front squats. I was really excited to do this one, even though I was the least efficient and the least technically sound one in there, apparently. So this is my lift here. As you can see, I'm in my Vans, no knee sleeves, no belt. This is 335 pounds, 152 kilos. I don't know, my technique looks pretty decent there. Got the first clean. Front squat a little round, and then the next front squat was not very good. But 1 rep. Everything else before that I smoked. The funny thing about this was I was basically coined as the least efficient or the least technically sound medicine ball cleaner in there, which is, the tool that would allow someone to learn how to clean. The next highest clean +2 front squats in the gym was 235 pounds. So not only was I the heaviest, but I was 100 pounds heavier than the next heaviest. If they had seen what I did to 235 pounds, their absolute max, they would not have felt good about themselves, right? Because to me, that was paperweight. And so this is funny, right? We have this disparity between intent versus outcome. The reason why they chose me was because I didn't show that I was fully extending in my hips, right? I didn't extend as hard as I could. That's something that I've talked about a lot in the clean, is that extension in the hips and this like overbearing extension really it's not important. It's not. There are so many different things that we need to do before that snapshot of triple extension even occurs. And when it does occur, it's just a snapshot. It's actually not that important. And we look at triple extension in the ankles, knees, and hips, and we think that's what the lift is all about right there. When in reality, it's a frame of the lift. If you look at some of the best lifters who have ever existed, they do not focus on triple extension. They don't give a shit about that. I've shown this before on my channel so many times. Mezzo Hasona, that guy hardly extends. Anton Pliesnoy, people would say underextend. Andre Aramnau, the list goes on and on. Those guys all have incredible technique, and they'll all clean more than anyone on earth, really, okay? And yet, I was coined as the one who was wrong. And that's where I think this disparity between intent and outcome can start causing a little bit of problems. And it also just relates to verbiage, the language that we use. And that's why I want to point out what this video is really about. I used my example, and now here's what this video is really about. And it is verbiage. It's the semantics of things that are said between coaches. This was from Squat University. Squat University is a page on Instagram. It's a guy who just talks about certain aspects of the squat, deadlifts, whatever, big compound movements, and where you'll see inefficiencies in lifters. If they fix said inefficiencies, they'll lift more. I don't really agree with this style of coaching, and I don't give it too much power when it comes to things that I would implement with my own lifters. But, you know, this stuff helps people out, and more power to it. I'm not gonna sit here and trash Squat University. This thing that he said, though, got a lot of hate. Lifter A squats 650 pounds in training with a hip shift and a slight knee cave. Lifter B squats 500 pounds in training with great looking technique. Both are impressive, but lifter B is more impressive. Agree or disagree? I mean, yeah, I disagree, obviously. And I think the rest of the internet disagrees. One of the things here, guys, is this might have the most comments that he's ever gotten. This single post may have done more for his page than any other post he's ever made. I mean, if we look at any of these posts where they're just words or whatever, this has 5, 6, 7 times the amount of comments on it. And I won't be able to see how many times this thing's been passed around or shared or even saved. But those are the things that are hidden that you can't see that bolster an algorithm like you wouldn't believe. You know, the hierarchy is likes, comments, shares, and then saved. Who knows how many times this was shared? Who knows how many times it was saved? But this thing got his page pushed around the internet. Here's why I disagree. And I can kind of see his side. I understand. He's a PT, right? His whole thing is about health and longevity. And I understand that because that's important in this sport. The guy who can train the longest usually is going to be the one that wins in the end. I disagree with this because he uses this term, great looking technique and impressive. 500 pounds with great looking technique. Who's to say that lifter A couldn't squat 500 pounds with great looking technique, right? Another thing too is what was on the program that day? What were the attitudes of both lifters? Was lifter A was he ego lifting? Does he underperform in competition? Was this a one-off thing? Did he do 625 pounds before, 630 pounds before, and it looked fantastic? So he decided, hey, why not go for a 1 rep max? I'm feeling good. I have some rest coming up, whatever. You know, what were the bounds of these two things? Because that's what lifting is. It's not a set in stone thing. You cannot tell me that one lifter is more impressive than the other without knowing a lot of different factors. If lifter A has been squatting 650 pounds or right around that ballpark for years now, and he's always getting injured, and he's always, he lifts like a piece of shit, like just doesn't follow program, ego lifts all the time, then yeah, I'm gonna be more impressed with lifter B, because lifter B is likely the one who progresses faster. He's likely the one who, his trajectory of everything is going up. He's listening to a program. Then in that case, yes. But who's to say what these are? And metrics for being impressive. That's completely subjective. In the sport of weightlifting, I'm not really impressed with back squats. I'm impressed with your total, your performance on the platform. I'm impressed with all these different things. And I don't mean to say, like, if someone hits a big back squat, I'm not gonna go, wow, that's crazy. But that's pretty much the extent of it. Wow, that's crazy. What are their lifts like? That's what I care about. What are they snatching? What are they clean and jerking? What are they doing in competition? Are they winning? Is their trajectory going upward? Something like this, it stems from, again, that disparity between intent and outcome. You see an outcome of a singular lift and you're telling me what is more impressive. That doesn't make any logical sense at all. As a coach, the lifter is not one singular lift in training. The lifter is a body of work over multiple lifts, over multiple years of training. And somehow the competition has to fit into that. How did these lifts fit into their competition? I think most people in this, let's just look at some of the comments on this. This is super negative. Like if we look at Weightlift D's, a meme account with my name, Tack Zoolander. It's just, why are you the way that you are? That's from The Office. This is a decent one. 650 is infinitely more impressive. Pontificating over perfectly symmetrical technique when we are not symmetrical organisms will only serve to hold you back. I agree with that. Weak people say the dumbest shit ever. This might be the dumbest post I have ever read. I hope this was a little bit eye-opening for you guys, and if not, it was just worth the discussion in the first place. But what are you lifting for? What is the background? Where are you going? What have you done? You'll never be able to discern what's good or bad based off of a singular lift or a singular moment. Our intent can be something completely different than the outcome that we see. You can see someone press their toes into the floor, and yet you'll see flat pressure in the foot when they're doing a snatch and the clean and jerk. Our intent can be to back squat 500 really fast, but our outcome in the end can be a 650 pounds back squat in training with a slight knee cave. I think, one-off little sentences like this are meant to charge people up, and it worked. This guy's getting a lot more traction now because of it. So anyways, that's my video today. Please subscribe, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you on the next one.